in teaching, I think experience teaches you a lot. And I'm sure I made a lot of mistakes. And sometimes I look back and say, oh, goodness, I should have not been so mean to Rachel, Later on, when I got older, I wasn't getting angry at you guys as much because I didn't have energy to do so. But when you're younger, and I think there's a little bit of when you're a young professor, you kind of feel like you have to prove yourself. So your students' performance is a reflection of you.
Hey there, I'm Rachel Ehring, and you're listening to the Top Music Piano Podcast. Get inspired as we discuss creative resources, trends in piano pedagogy, ways to grow your income and streamline your studio, and new ways to engage your students each week. If you are a teacher who wants to go beyond the method books to create an innovative studio that fosters lifelong music makers, you've come to the right place. Hello there, piano teachers. This is a very special episode for two reasons. The first reason is that it is episode 100 of the Top Music Piano Podcast, which feels like a big milestone. And secondly, because I have the most special guest on today's show. 2 years ago, when I was about to start hosting this show, Tim Topham had me as a guest on his show, and one of the questions he asked me was, who is one of your dream guests for your podcast? And I think he expected me to say some big name like Yuzha Wang or Lang Lang or someone that is a household name in the classical piano world. But instead, I said that my dream was to have my college piano teacher, Dr. Eunyoung Wang, on the show. And today, that dream is being fulfilled. I did my undergraduate studies at a small school in downtown Chicago called Moody Bible Institute, which most people have never even heard of, but it changed my life in many ways, not the least of which was having the opportunity to study with Dr. Wang. She is a top-tier teacher, and if I could have studied with her for 20 years, I would have. And I know that there would have still been more to learn from her. She is just that good. So it is a huge honor for me to have her on the show today. I'm going to share a little bit about her, and then we'll get right into the interview. Eunyoung Wang was born in Seoul, Korea, and began concertizing at 10 years of age as a soloist with Seoul Symphony Orchestra. At 14, she won the Presidential Award for Excellence in Piano and received a grant from the Korean government to study abroad. She was accepted as a scholarship student in the pre-college division at the Juilliard School in New York, where she earned the Bachelor of Music and Master of Music degrees in piano performance. She continued her studies under Dr. Robert Pace at Teachers College, Columbia University, earning a Master's of Education and Doctor of Education degrees. Her principal piano teachers were Anya Dorfman, William Macelos, and Anne Shine. She has recently retired from the faculty of Moody Bible Institute, where she taught for 35 years. Here's my interview with my teacher, Dr. Eunyoung Wang. Well, welcome to the show. This has been my dream to have you on my podcast, and usually I make guests introduce themselves. I obviously know you very well, but could you just give a really brief introduction to listeners who don't know you?
Oh, my name is Eunyoung Whang. I'm originally from Seoul, Korea. I moved to New York when I was 14 years old to study there. And then I got my studying done. And then I had the wonderful privilege and a huge blessing to teach at Moody for 35 years with amazing students, you included, and wonderful colleagues. So God is good. I'm so blessed. And thank you for inviting me. This is a wonderful experience for me. And good to see you.
Yes, you too. Thank you. So before we get into you as a teacher, I would love to hear about your early piano lessons. What do you remember as a child taking piano lessons? Did you love it? Did your parents have to make you practice? What was it like?
I actually wanted to be a dancer, traditional Korean dance. And apparently, according to what I heard from my sister and my mother, I was pretty good at it. But my parents thought that, I have a church background, so they thought being able to play the piano would be more useful in church services. So I started to take lessons. I was only 5 years old, and my teacher was a wonderful lady. And all I remember is running around with her. I don't know whether I learned anything. I was able to play some, pretty challenging pieces. And then eventually I got to study with a college professor who was a longtime family friend. And she was a very kind lady, educated in Japan. And I was able to enter some kitty competitions. And then that lady's student went to Vienna Academy, and she came back, and she became my second teacher, who was just fabulous. I think she still teaches in Korea. And one of her former students won Chopin competition a few years back. So, she was just wonderful. And between the two ladies, I was educated very old, but I was a lazy one. So my mom always had to make me practice. And sometimes I love dolls. So she would bribe me. If you practice certain hours, I'll buy you one doll. So I had 10 dolls. I kid you not. So
From
if
practice.
you have any students or any of your teachers struggle with that, be encouraged. I think we all need a little bit of encouragement and discipline from the family to be able to practice. And then eventually I had a wonderful opportunity and the privilege to be able to study in New York. So I moved there and then got all my degrees. And here I am, retired now.
I know. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Would you mind sharing a little bit about your transition to New York when you were only 14? That must have been a huge life change for you.
Oh my goodness. I won a big competition in Korea at 14. I'm bragging now. Forgive
No,
me.
good. Please brag away.
And that opened the door for getting a passport because back then, Korea has developed so much. So it's a different story. But back then, sending out students was very limited. So I was given a passport and an opportunity to go to any school, if I can get in, of course, and that will help me out. So I got into Juilliard pre-college. So that meant go to Juilliard every Saturday to get musical training. But then during the week, I had to go to regular high school. So at 14, my parents really struggled because should we send this minor young teenager to a big, exciting, but can be dangerous city, New York? It still is an interesting city in every way, But art center, Juilliard is considered one of the world's best schools. And do we just let that opportunity pass? So I guess they struggled and prayed a lot, but somehow I was on my plane with my parents to New York. And my father made sure that we got a nice apartment and registered the schools and all that. And then my mom wanted to stay with me for about a year. And then eventually maybe we can find a good family to try to take care of me and then she can go back and forth. But then, life has interesting twists and turns. So she got very sick after about 7 months and she had to go back. I was unexpectedly on my own at 15. And I had a guardian who would kind of take care of me on weekends and make sure that I got enough money and sign all the papers and stuff, but I had to manage my life. My transition was very challenging and very difficult. And all I can say looking back is sometimes life throws a little, twists and turns at us, but it forces us to grow. And now that I look back, now I can appreciate that it was a blessing in disguise. Because look where I ended up at Moody with the professors that you had and students like you who still want me
Yes.
for all these years. And your classmates and ones who were before you and after you, they still contact me and they're everywhere doing all kinds of wonderful stuff. Missionaries, professors like you, private teachers, their private schools, you name it. I mean, they're everywhere, everywhere. And I consider it an amazing, amazing blessing. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree. Yes.
Didn't you
Yeah.
love your classmates?
Oh, yeah. It was one of the best times of my life.
Yeah,
Like,
and in spite of all the tortures, didn't you love us? Say that
yeah,
you loved us.
absolutely.
Oh, one thing though, we love to have fun. And you must admit that we had a lot of fun, didn't we?
Yes, we did. And everyone could hear you. If you were laughing, we could hear you way down the hall. And we knew that Dr. Whang was in the building.
Yeah, I was told that I was on, yes, I was on the fourth floor and my students come back. We could hear you from the lobby on the first floor.
We did have fun and we worked hard.
Yeah, I tortured you guys, but, I think we had both hard work, but fun at the same time. So I think that made it much more bearable. And I think especially for children, for teachers, make sure that you have fun with your students. That's what I would like to say after all these years.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that I do take that into the lessons that I teach with my kids. Like when I think about them, the kids always have fun and they want to come back. Like, I don't know if they're learning anything, but they're having fun. So
And I think it develops love for music. And I think in a nice way, maybe we're motivating them to work harder, learn more pieces, more difficult pieces, or maybe some fun pieces, come back and they want to learn Star Wars theme. That's fine with me.
yeah. So when you were 15, 16 studying at Juilliard, did you know that you wanted to teach or did you have other dreams? And how did you discover your love for teaching?
It's a little tricky. I think when you win a competition, the country wants you to have a huge career.
Performing.
Yeah. And I obviously didn't have that. I'm not, what's her name? Yuja Wang or, fabulous, fabulous people. My former teacher, Anne Shine, had an amazing career too. She still, writes me Christmas cards.
Does she really?
Oh, yeah. Wonderful lady. And Anya Dorfman, of course, passed away, my teacher at Juilliard. These are all fabulous, world famous concert artists, but I wasn't one of them. But that wasn't really my dream. I think I come from more of a teacher family. Even as pastors, the style of sermon, preaching sermons of my father, grandfather, or my brothers were very much like professors. I guess that was the talent that was given to our family. So as a young teenage girl, I used to make up my own book of students, made up names.
What?
And then age and, what I'm teaching every week. It was a makeup students. And then finally I had my own list at Juilliard and I would just chuckle at the end of the day. I used to make up names and now I have Rachel Schrag,
Yeah.
and she's learning these pieces and I told her to do this. Did I do that? So I guess there was a little bit of that, I wanted to teach. And when I finished my last degree, they call our doctorate degrees terminal degree. Makes you feel like you're going to die,
It feels that way when you're doing it too.
But I sent my resume to all Christian colleges. And that was what I wanted to do. That mix some aspect of ministry with teaching and performing. And when I was finishing on my degree, I was it was an academic school. Columbia was, so there was no, we just needed to take 2 semester piano lessons, but after that, it was a lot of book reading and writing and practice teaching and all that. So during that time, I actually studied with Einstein privately. And I was just beginning to wonder, Miss Shine, should I just give up performing altogether and, just focus on teaching and writing, dissertation and writing papers and all that. And I was still playing at church whenever I could because I don't do that now, but, I was a church pianist for a long time. And she said, don't give up anything. Continue to practice and perform whenever you can. Continue to practice and play for church if you need to, whenever you're asked to. And then continue to write your dissertation and do well in your academics and do practice teaching and all that. Doing all that makes your circle complete. And Shine actually is that kind of artist. She doesn't teach little ones because that's a special skill. You have it, but she's an amazing, amazing communicator in teaching college or conservatory students. And she's simply amazing in master classes. I used to just admire her, how she does that. And she's friendly, yet she brings the best out of somebody who's there just playing and learning 20 minutes, because that's what you get in the master class. And amazing, amazing performer. I don't think she's performing as much, but I think she still does perform and give master classes. And she taught at Peabody and all that. But in the private lessons, yikes, I used to get scared because she was very demanding. And if something was not right, she wouldn't mince words. She was kind, but you knew that you just got scolded, And that I think is also a talent, that very demanding, kind, yet you knew that you really needed to, work and present something good and make sure that you improved and you did your job, Yeah, so it was amazing to learn from her.
Yeah. So, wow. Okay. When I talk about you to people, I tell them that you were the most amazing performer because you would give faculty recitals. And I just, I loved hearing you play. It was so sensitive, so beautiful. But you were also a fantastic teacher. You definitely had some of that where I was a little scared to come in, but we also had fun. I knew if I didn't do well, you didn't always mince words either.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, remember, some of you jokingly called me a dragon lady. No, actually, I loved it. I thought of it as an affectionate term.
It was, I'm sure.
You're so kind to say that I was a good performer and a good teacher. By God's grace, I would say. But I think one thing that I learned from both Dr. Pace when I did my doctorate and Shine and Anya Dorfman, and then William Marcellus. After I got my master's, I was in some kind of program called the Professional Studies. And that's because lessons are very expensive at Juilliard. But if you're in the school, you get lessons for cheap price, And if you get a scholarship, you're practically getting lessons for free. So for that, William Marcellus was my teacher. And then finally, I moved on to Einstein privately because Einstein and William Marcellus were family friends. So William Marcellus was not well. So he said, why don't you study with this fabulous lady? And actually, there was a fun story when Einstein came to Korea years back when I was a child. She was so amazing. I used to just imitate her, and I got to play for her, little kitties. And I told her when I went to study with her, and she thought that was the sweetest thing, that imitate her. And she was sort of my idol And here I was, sitting in front of my idol and studying with. So anyway, what was I talking?
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
what you're talking about.
yeah.
But
Main thing is that I think they taught me to continue to learn and grow. So giving a faculty recital almost every year was my way of keep learning, keep growing.
and I remember you telling me that you got more nervous the older you got. Is that
Yeah,
true?
yeah, because especially playing in front of my students, because I feel as though I have to do everything that I really badgered you to do.
Yeah.
But it was, and also remind myself what you guys are going through. Because if you're just teaching only, we get very comfortable. But if you're still performing and learning, you realize that, oh my goodness, my students are going through this every semester at the jury. You come in and you're worried about memory slips and try to remember everything we taught you to do. Yeah. So it was a good way of continue to grow. And then in teaching, I think experience teaches you a lot. And I'm sure I made a lot of mistakes. And sometimes I look back and say, oh, goodness, I should have not been so mean to Rachel. Thank the Lord that she forgave me. She still talks to me. And later on, when I got older, I wasn't getting angry at you guys as much because I didn't have energy to do so. But when you're younger, and I think there's a little bit of when you're a young professor, you kind of feel like you have to prove yourself. So your students' performance is a reflection of you. And that was a mistake. And I learned, after a few years that no, it isn't that. It's your responsibility. It has to be a cooperation. So a lot of it is your responsibility, but then don't give up because you feel as though, oh my goodness, my student made 10 mistakes, so I'm a failure this semester. I got rid of that. And it's a learning experience. So in teaching, I think if we just continue to learn from both good and bad of our teaching and often the results in performance or what degrees you got or where are your love for music and all that, I think is a good reflection of how you're doing, whether you like it or not. It's scary,
Yeah.
but yeah. And I wanted to share this because I really give a lot of credit to my wonderful, wonderful teachers. Dr. Pace at Columbia, I think Robert Pace is a very legendary pedagogue. And he always said that you people should remember that you're not teaching piano, but you're teaching people to play the piano. In developing skills in any kind of instrument takes discipline, patience, a lot of encouragement. So you might end up educating the whole family, your student. And that stayed with me. And that really gave me tremendous appreciation to your parents. When your parents, other students, the parents come back and I can see why you guys turned out so well, So I guess your compliment, I appreciate it, but I give a lot of credit to the Lord, of course, my Savior and God, God is so wonderful. But then He gave me amazing teachers. So I hope I did okay in passing on what those fabulous people taught me. And then maybe you
Yes.
can do the same because you're sort of a granddaughter of Enshine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're a
Yeah.
granddaughter of Robert Pace, Dr. Pace. Yeah, so I guess part of what we do is passing on the good stuff, the legacy
Yes.
of our
Yeah.
amazing, amazing teachers and performers, kind of those people who inspired us and were just very patient and
Yes.
very
Patience.
encouraging in many, many ways. They were demanding, but you knew that they were doing that because they loved us and they wanted us to maximize our talent so that they would push it. But I must say that they pushed us in the right direction. Don't you agree?
I do agree. You pushed me in the right
Yeah,
direction.
look how beautifully you play. And I've always kind of bragged that you are a performer, both excellent in both solo and accompanying, but especially any kind of ensemble work. Dr. Round and I always kind of looked at each other and kind of chuckled whenever you accompanied because you didn't even look at the soloist, but you were just together like this every second, in balance, in timing. And we just looked at, she works hard, but that's a wonderfully a precious God-given talent as well. And you really made the most of it. So we used to, Dr. Round, that, you remember Dr.
Yeah.
Round?
Yeah.
We used to, when we judged you, we kind of looked at each other and kind of chuckled.
Yeah. It's funny because, I mean, we had no idea at that point that was going to be my career path. But yeah, I think I've always just been able to kind of sense what my partner is doing. And I don't really have to look at him. I mean, sometimes I do, but yeah,
And you
it's
love
true.
it. And you seem to read the minds of the soloists.
Yeah,
And
which can be good or bad. But I've sometimes said, I know when they're going to make a mistake before they know when they're going to make a mistake.
oh no, that probably scares them.
Yeah.
But I mean, you remember Mr. Thompson, conductor of the women's choir, and I remember how much he relied on you because you were a wonderful accompanist, and he didn't even have a backup. I remember asking you because the tour in Korea, a very intense schedule, and a lot of the members got sick. You remember? And you never got sick. I actually asked you, maybe you don't remember it, but I do. I said, Rachel, you're not getting sick. It's amazing. And you said, I'm not sick because I cannot get sick.
Yeah. No one else knew all that music.
Yeah. And that to me was, wow, what a gift.
Yeah. I remember I was filling in because there were a couple other pianists who accompanied some of the pieces, and I was filling in for them, but I knew no one could fill in all those pieces that I had learned.
Well, even I had the music just in
Well, I
case.
think you were the backup.
Yeah, because, I play the piano a little bit. I had the music, but there was no need for that. And then, of course, I don't rehearse with you guys all the time, so the ensemble would suffer. I can play the notes, but so that is an amazing gift. And the professors at Moody, when you were attending the school, were very proud of you, if I may say so.
Well, thank you.
Now, don't get conceited. See?
I won't get a big head, I promise. And
Oh,
I owe so much of that to you. And
but
okay.
they did that.
Yeah. I do want to ask about something that I remember from you as a teacher. The thing that sticks out to me is how you always had an analogy for everything. Like every little phrase or part of the music, every measure, you would come up with some kind of story or something. And I have never been able to incorporate that into my teaching. I try, but where did all of that creativity come from?
Oh my goodness, I don't remember that I did that.
You don't? You would always
I
make
don't.
up a little story or like a animal or a butterfly, or it was always something for every phrase.
Um, I love to imagine. If I weren't a pianist, I might have been an actress, or a writer or something very dangerous like that. But I myself kind of try to picture it or imagine what I do when I perform. So when I play certain pieces, certain parts, I sort of have my own story. If it's not the story from beginning till the end, maybe partially here and there. And I love to watch movies and read books or stuff like that. Probably that kind of carried over that my imagination that I use in my own performance. So if you're not really thinking of it, or that musicality that you obviously have, not just you, but all my students, plural you, then I pray that how can I get that out of my student? And I guess we all can kind of relate to something that we're familiar with. So if you are fond of cartoons, then I watch a lot of cartoons. So, I can say that, well, right here is Cinderella, So just right in this passage, imagine that Cinderella just got her most beautiful dress from the magic wand. Yeah, so that's probably how it happened because my focus was how can I get you, to bring out what you have obviously in you, and your phrasing could be as beautiful as your heart. And what would inspire her to do that? If you like a good hot cup of latte, then I would say play like a latte.
Yes. I remember you saying that you had to work really hard in my piano lessons. Do you remember that? Like you were dancing around, and I mean, you can talk about that if you want to.
Oh, obviously you're extremely musical, and when you're accompanying, it comes out very comfortably, and you know how to just blend in with your soloist. But then as a soloist, you're just a little too humble at times. You have to be a bit of a prima donna on stage, and while you're performing, you cannot be too humble. So I kind of had to push you to be conceited.
Yeah. Yeah, you had to pull it out of me for sure.
But when that happened, when you were convinced, it came out. Your final recital was one of the best of my students, and you came out, and you are not so humble to be the kind of artist that you are. You still are, you were, and you will continue to be, I think.
Oh, thank you. Well, and the other thing you taught us is that even more important is what you are wearing when you come out on stage.
Oh, absolutely. That's the only reason that I performed all my life. Without it, I would stop it tomorrow. I still perform once in a while at church or, Christmas program. And I make sure that I wear something sparkly in red or green, but it's fun.
It is fun.
And I think because you're enjoying it, it encourages you to perform even happier, I think. And, I always joked that if I make huge mistake, at least I looked pretty. So they enjoyed looking at me,
Yeah.
So it's too bad that this podcast is not,
I know we didn't dress up.
Something sparkly for you, you see.
I know you would have. Pink and sparkly.
Yeah. But I did that as a joke, and it's just having fun. But it also, I think, looking the part in some ways that you don't want to go out on stage in your jeans. You want to look like a performer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you look like a performer, 90% of your audience probably isn't going to even notice if you make a mistake.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Yeah. So it's shiny. So they were looking at your sparkles, and they didn't catch your mistouch. So it's a tactic, but it's been fun. And you remember Dr. Bess Nagley, fabulous organist, and we're still duet partners. We've been duet partners for 40 years now. And the very first concert that we gave, she was going to wear this black outfit, pants. And I looked at her and said, Beth, I love your playing, and you're a wonderful, wonderful friend and a partner in crime that's playing duets. But if you're wearing that, I'm not going to perform with you. So she literally went to Lord and Taylor's and got a sparkly jacket. So she wore it. And at the end of the concert, there was this, sparkle that just, were all came out of the jacket, was on the bench. And since then, every time we perform, we will talk about the timing and the rehearsal time and the repertoire and all that. And the last question is, what are we gonna wear?
Yes.
Color, the sparkliness and all that, it had to match. So she had to go shopping just about every concert. On my 30-year anniversary party, she brought some of these jackets and she said, look at all these jackets, this top and this sparkly earrings. And we just had a lot of fun. But I guess, it encourages us. So anything to encourage and have fun. And it'll probably make us perform better. And then I think when you're enjoying your performance, I think the audience enjoys it. If you're suffering, music is very scary because what you're feeling inside just gets transmitted to the audience directly, right away. So if you're enjoying it and if you're loving it, then they'll probably catch on. Whether you try to do that or not, I think it just happens. It's a wonderful gift because not too many things that we have in this world would do that, but music has this amazing ability to just share that love and the feeling that you have without trying too hard. You just play and they'll catch on.
Yeah, for sure. I would love for you to share a little encouragement or advice for young piano teachers, or maybe not as young piano teachers, but those who are still in the trenches. You, of course, are on the other side of that, but what advice or encouragement do you have for piano teachers?
Don't give up. Keep learning and keep loving what you do. And that love will just, transmit to your students. And then, and love your students, not just music, but love your students and enjoy your time with your students. And don't worry too much about the achievement or the results because, Dr. Pace always said that if the process is correct, the product will be correct. And if you're just giving all you can and just sharing what you love and what you know, you cannot teach what you do not know. So continue to learn and grow. Most teachers have a lot to offer. I believe that. So just keep sharing and keep loving. Then I think in time, you will be appreciated and you will appreciate what you were able to do in a very nice way. Not to be conceited, but I think it goes into sort of a self-esteem in some ways that in the right way that you are able to have a little bit of an input in your students' lives. And that's a privilege. I think that makes it very, very precious that, your next generation, even grown-ups, you were able to share something beautiful with the people that you came in contact with. Does that make any sense?
It does. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Whang, for being here on episode 100. This was so special. Honestly, since I started this podcast, it's been my dream to have you come on. So thank you for... Can
I just congratulate you on 100 episodes? I think that's amazing. It's a landmark episode. And thank you so much. It's a wonderful blessing and a privilege to be on your podcast.
Thank you. You braved the tech.
Yes, I made it. I did it.
Did it. So thank you and best wishes in your retirement. I do have a question. Are you still playing the piano? Do you still play every day?
Yes, I do. Maybe not as much, but I still do. And I still learn new pieces and revive old pieces. And just in case if somebody asks me to just dabble a little bit, I want to have at least one piece that I can sit down and play.
Yeah. What are you working on right now?
I've just revived the first impromptu by Chopin.
Oh, amazing.
And I don't want to play anything difficult. So, I don't want to get to ballade because then you have to, have the muscles for it. and I don't have the same kind of muscles anymore. So impromptu, I can handle it. And I love to play hymn arrangements. So I have a few that I just, play as I just spend morning time of, my quiet meditation, that I just use it as part of that. And then, I just picked up a new Bach prelude that I never learned the other day, because Bach, you have to, really work hard to learn the notes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure that I want to memorize a few, not anymore, but at least I'm learning some new notes. So I still try to keep up a little bit of my own practice time, a little bit of a discipline, and, that's just fun.
Yeah, that's amazing and inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Maybe, Lord willing, maybe we can get together in California and play duets.
Absolutely. I would love that. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, let's keep dreaming and hoping, and eventually maybe it'll come true.
Yes. All right. You heard it here first. Well, thank you, Dr. Whang, for being here. And
Dr. Eun-young.
Dr. Eun-young. Thank you, Dr. Eun-young, for being here. It made this episode so special. So thank you so much.
Rachel, all my love to you.
Thank you, Dr. Eun-young, for joining me today as my special guest. It is always a joy to spend time with you, even if it's on the computer. I owe so much of who I am as a pianist and teacher to you, and I appreciate your dedication to all of your students for the decades that you taught at Moody. And listeners, thank you for joining me for these 100 episodes. It means the world to me. I appreciate you and want to continue supporting you in your piano teacher journey. So that's the end of the show for this week, but I will see you again next week. I'm Rachel Ehring, and you've been listening to the Top Music Piano Podcast. I'll talk with you again soon.
How do you keep up to date with all the latest trends and research into music education? How do you connect with other teachers around the world and make sure your teaching stays fresh and relevant for students of all ages and stages, both now and into the future? I created our Top Music Pro membership to be the one-stop shop for music teaching resources, training, support and community, and I'd love for you to come and join us inside. With over 40 comprehensive training courses, hundreds of teaching demonstrations and lesson plans, free monthly sheet music, discounts, and all the business and pedagogy support you could ever need, Top Music Pro is the community you've been looking for. If you're ready to level up your learning from the podcast and join thousands of other teachers in our global network, head over to topmusicpro.com today.